And welcome back into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And my name is Brett Parnell.
And so let's dive in. What do you got this week?
Let's dive in with you, player of the episode. I mean, there can't actually be any debate here, right?
It has to be Savannah, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Wins immunity, gets the longest for her tribe, wins the twist, gets to still vote. It was all about her the whole way through.
Had the opportunity to vote, but didn't have to, which means she
Well,
now
yeah,
has an extra vote banked also.
that's right. But I guess the reward was
Yeah.
signaled as if she would be voting, and then she chose not to.
Yeah. I like that reward, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of fun to do. I don't necessarily know why, if it's not for the filming schedule, that we're doing this split vote, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the idea of the award that she ended up winning definitely was a fun twist to see.
As far as the split vote, I think he just thinks smaller tribals are interesting. There's less places to hide. He
He
likes
isn't Jeff.
mixing things up. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to Phil on his podcast that Phil that we had on from Survivor Specialists.
Yeah.
But I thought he had a good take on it that at this point they technically merged last 2 episodes ago, only to now be somehow not merged again, which is getting to be a problem when it's like if you're merged, you are playing with everybody in the game. So why should a random rock draw lead you to not be able to vote alongside your allies when you're supposedly post merge?
Yeah. I did get excited for a second when Probst described how the split would work.
Yeah.
Because he said that the group that goes to tribal, there would be no individual immunity.
Yeah.
And last season, I was on this show saying, let's do a tribal where everyone's available to be voted for and there's no immunity necklace.
So
They
you
ended
got
up
it.
adding an immunity necklace, but I felt
I
really,
mean, they added one to the winners. So
yeah,
I would still say it's a tribal with no immunity. You were right.
yeah. She was
They,
still there and had the chance to vote, though.
they just wanted to make it adamantly clear Savannah won the challenge. You can't vote her off just because she's sitting in the room.
Yeah.
But then they should have made it adamantly clear that Sydney and Lydia won the challenge. But hey, I don't work for production.
I also kind of would like to see them do, and
You knew I was going to go there, right?
yeah.
What were you going to say, Bruce?
Oh, 1 second.
Bruce is gone and Bruce is back.
I one also this would be a pre-merge, I guess, but the like Vanuatu Guatemala thing where you get to just go and watch tribal.
Yeah.
And I think at least one of those, maybe both, they got to assign immunity to one person right before the vote. But
Yeah. Amy and Jamie both assigned immunity to John Kay and Gary.
yeah, that would have been a fun twist to do here.
That would have been fun.
But yeah, so
Like so, but I'm sure you can imagine in this layout with how the tribes were, well, tribes not really, but players were split by tribe. If Savannah could have assigned immunity to Rizzo, that would have been controversial.
yeah, but yeah. But the thing is Savannah, like, great episode for her.
Yeah,
Numbers wise, she's still on the outside. She's still in the minority, I feel like.
yeah, absolutely. She's still in the minority, but at the same time, she's in the more organized trio, which we've seen win from the minority before, notably Kenzie, Jam Jam. So I'm not counting that group of three out by any means.
Yeah.
especially in the new era. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
We've seen Marianne win from a minority of 4 with Taku.
Lay down.
The new era seems to do that. I don't know why. You would think there would be some more common sense about we can just use our numbers, but there always seems, I guess there's just so many twists in this era of the game that people don't want to take chances when you never know what Gross is going to throw at them.
Yeah. And the other thing is other than 48, that majority group at Merge almost never stays together and just picks people off easily.
Exactly.
So that did just happen last season, but everyone hated on it and called it boring because of that. So,
and these people would have seen last season because 49 and 50 would be filmed back to back.
Okay.
So they're certainly aware of that. Unlike, say, for the people who played last season wouldn't have seen, say, the big move that Sam, Genevieve, and Andy made.
True. For the record, I did not think last season was boring because the people I came into the season rooting for held power the whole time.
That's true.
I can understand why people did think that was boring if they weren't rooting for those people.
I found it somewhat a bit boring, but it wasn't horrible either. To me, last season was just last season. It's somewhere in the middle of the franchise.
Yeah. I'd agree.
But I don't know if this is a controversial take, but I'm going to ask you it anyway because I talked about it to a few other friends. I think this season might be my second top new era season.
Maybe it might. It's second or third for me. 45 is still first.
Okay.
I don't know if I put it above or below 47.
See, I'm the opposite, but in that area. 47 is my clear number one. I think I have this season above 45.
Fair enough.
But all right, so getting into the episode, I mean, we'll see at the end. I'm sure we'll talk about all our new era season rankings when we get to a wrap up, seeing that next season is going to be returning players, then that'll be totally different.
Yeah, we have about 1,000 different ideas for the 49-50 off season already, and we're coming up with more.
And we have Christmas in there, and before we know it, it'll be 50 because 50 starts in February, so we got to pick like 6 of them.
Yeah. Well, we talked about one this week that we know we're going to do, and it involves a guest that I already kind of floated the idea, and they seem interested. So
oh, that's good. Either way, let's get into the episode, and we start with the tribe coming back from tribal after Nate has left the game. And there's a bit of damage control being made here between Jawan and his former Uli tribe now that he's voted against one of Savannah and Rizzo's allies.
Yeah. This is interesting. I think Jawan does a good job with that.
He does. And if I'm in like Savannah Rizzo's spot, I'm sure Sophia's, and by Sophia, I should just say, I guess it's Soph now all of the sudden.
If I look at the hat, I'm currently...
No, oh yeah, wait, before we get in the episode, tell us about Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night, Bryson wins Chicago. It's when me and Kevin go up there.
Oh, yeah, I just need some water. If you see me oddly pointing at the camera.
Okay. It was incredible. Great time. Got to talk to Bryce, who remembers us from all 3 times we've gone.
Nice.
Which impresses me still, because, I mean, it's the 3rd time in a row we've done this, but you think of how many people that guy meets that they do these every episode of the season.
Yeah.
Well, we talked to him for a while. He told us to send him a link for Pit Stop Pals. FaceTime Mitch, because Kevin was wearing his Mitch shirt.
Nice.
Most combined compliments on our shirts me and Kevin have gotten because I was wearing my Jeff Probst Eras Tour shirt.
Nice.
So
Oh, you mentioned that. I forgot to wear mine today.
I was
Next
gonna
week.
wear mine too, and I forgot.
Next
But
week.
I've had this Survivor, like CBS Survivor hat, like the ones Probst wears,
Yeah.
since I think 2019. And I just got the idea this time a few weeks ago. Hey, let's run it through the washing machine before I go, so it's not all dirty, and just have everyone I meet sign it at these parties from now on.
See, I wish I would have thought of that because I got former Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham, and England international Joe Cole to sign the most disgusting soccer hat you'll ever see in your life.
Nice. But I wish I had thought of this the first time we went for 47 because there was a ton of current cast members there too. But
Yeah,
I got I met Bryce, of course. He was the first signature.
nice.
I've got Sifu here who signed it upside down, which
Nice.
Sifu is the life of the party at all of these.
Yeah, I could imagine.
He's been at all three, and at all three of them, he is at one point standing on a chair slash bar stool dancing at some point. Brought his torch to the second one.
Nice.
I met a three-time player who I would call a legend of the game, Andrea,
Nice.
right there.
Absolutely an Andrew, a legend.
Do what? Yeah.
I said, absolutely a legend.
And
I've never met Andrea, but in the middle of lockdown, I did a Zoom call for charity with Andrea and Michelle.
we were sitting across a table from people that she knows because she was standing over like by them talking to them almost the whole episode.
Oh, nice.
But literally at one point, and I texted you when this happened, I literally just look over across the table and, oh, there's Andrea, like, right across the table from me. Okay.
Nice.
But this is my favorite. And from this season, I met both Sophie's, Alex, Rizzo, caught Rizzo as he was on his way towards the door. Almost didn't get him.
Does that mean that he's going to win? Because I think you caught Rachel next to the door.
That's true.
He's on my team.
Well, we
just
caught
pointing
Rachel
that
as
out.
we were leaving. We caught him as he was leaving.
It's still next to the door.
But also met Christina and MC. So
Nice.
6 people from this season. But my favorite part of this is you see here, Sophie B signed it Sophie B and then put blue and then put better and made a point to show me that. And the next person I met was Sophie S. And without thinking, I kind of just, because I had my Sharpie clipped to my pocket, pulled it out, took the hat off, handed it to her, and without even thinking about it, handed it to her with this facing up. So she's like, the face she made was hilarious. Took a while to think about what she wrote, and that ended up putting Sophie Segretti with a heart here.
Nice.
AKA Yellow Sophie with 2 syllables. I was trying to think of something that started with a Y, because at one point she's just like, nothing starts with a Y. Like, kind of frustrated. Fantastic. I'd like to think that conversation came up between them at some point because Sophie S took a picture of the Sophie signature. So
nice.
There was entertainment in the 49 group chat.
Oh, it seems like the two of them get along very well. So
they seem to, yeah. But
I think this cast is going to be.
People.
I get the sense that this cast is going to be much more like a 45 cast than a 46 cast.
45 and 47 are always hanging out.
Yeah.
And then 46 was beefing on Twitter.
Did you see on the note of 47 hanging out, the Napa Valley girls trip this week?
I saw that like an hour ago.
Oh, nice.
That looks awesome.
I want to go to Napa sometime.
I mean, Napa itself isn't high on my list. I'm not really a wine person, but
Sure.
just that looks like a fun group.
Yeah, it does.
So, but yeah, Bryson Wynn was awesome. So, and everyone was super nice. And can't wait for the next one. Gonna bring this hat back and fill it with more signatures. Because with it
Nice.
being 50, you know the Bryson Wen parties are just going to be stacked and are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
That'll be amazing. I
yeah.
just thought of something. What if, on the off chance, there's 50 party on Wednesday in Chicago before we're going to the Blues game?
Yeah, I was telling
He needs
Kevin,
to
like,
come
I
that
need to
week.
try to get him to come to this one. Then I realized they're usually like the last one we went to for that time of year was in April. So you're already hopefully traveling in April. So
Hopefully.
51, we'll try to get you down there for it.
Yeah. No, April's when I'm coming to St. Louis.
That's what I'm saying. If it's
Yeah.
if
But I'm
Bryson
saying
wins
hopefully
Chicago,
they do a Chicago on the Wednesday and then I'll go to St. Louis on the Thursday.
yeah, well, if
That
it's
would
the
work.
same week,
Yeah, exactly.
if it's a different week, then you're
Or if
traveling.
or if it's the week after and I can connect through Chicago or something and meet you
Yeah,
guys again.
we'll have to see. But if it's
We'll see what they do. But there's a chance.
yeah, so but yeah, can't wait for the next one. That was super fun. And like I came into the draft wanting Savannah and both Sophies, and the two Sophies have probably been my two favorite players of the game.
Nice.
Now that Sophie S is getting actual screen time. So it was really cool to get to meet both of them and have that funny moment with both of them.
And I mean, I don't think that that's Sophie S's fault at all.
No, it's
I
not
still
at
think
all.
she's
It's
playing a
production
great
editing is
game.
weird.
Well, it's that, but it's also that her tribe just kept winning. I mean, I'm really watching both seasons that were filmed in Cambodia right now because I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks traveling. And you look at those seasons, and it's like, I mean, Jeremy, we saw that was a returning player season, but you don't see much of Michelle until the week after the merge because she keeps winning.
True.
Michelle doesn't go to tribal until it's like the merge vote is when she's lighting her torch.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a lot of content from that because players who keep winning are just on a tropical vacation, and that's not entertaining to watch.
And then I've complained about the editing of this season, but there will never be a worse editing job than the
Samoa.
season where the winner of the season got 19 total confessionals.
Yep.
There have been episodes where one person probably gets that many in one episode, I would
Oh,
guess.
there has Tony and 40.
Oh, yeah, that tracks. Tony got about 1 million confessionals in 40. But Natalie
Yeah,
White Samoa as the winner of the season, getting 19 total confessionals, will always be an insane statistic to me.
it is.
Like you can't even edit that badly if you're trying. I feel like how does that happen?
I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to the episode because we kind of shut it off quick. But we mentioned there that Jawan's now in damage control, and the fact that Jawan voted against his former Uli members really sets Savannah, Rizzo, and now Sophie B2B in a bit of a issue going forward because they don't have an out to say maybe the vote will go our way unexpectedly. They are on the bottom.
Yeah, they are. And it's with Jawan and Savannah, we kind of see that. Not Jawan, Savannah and Rizzo kind of have that realization. And this is the first time we've kind of seen Savannah not have power this game.
It is.
So,
and in contrast with players who don't have power, we have other players who are starting to look for power. And that's that everybody knows that MC played an idol that she did not need. So that idol is probably somewhere in the jungles of Fiji.
And we also kind of see the Jawan reaction of, why didn't you trust me? Why did you feel the need to play that?
Yeah.
So that kind of adds an interesting element too.
Which is interesting. I don't think I see eye to eye with Jawan here because you don't know necessarily which way it's going to go. But even if she doesn't need to play it, MC isn't the only player with an idol here.
Yeah.
And crazy things can happen in this game. And if you find an idol, I don't think it was that bad of a move for her to play it and just know, okay, I'm going on to the next round, and we maybe have a couple more weeks before the finale. Or
Yeah.
this is the new era. 4 or 5 more days before the finale. Let's be real.
Yeah. So I get it. I get both sides. I get why Jawan would be like, well, now that's back out there. You could have trusted me, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't. MC is completely reasonable. Also,
But the idol gets found by somebody who's voting with both MC and Jawan, and that's Christina.
yes,
So we now have another idol in the game, but also remember, now we have an idol that is not in the possession of, well, I mean, I guess with MC it wasn't either, but we have another idol in the game that's not in the possession of Sophie, B, Savannah, or Lizzo. Why is that important? It's because Sophie B has safety without power. Has what is not safety
knowledge is
without power?
power.
Knowledge is power. Some of these advantage names just like to throw me for loops.
Yeah,
So if Christina starts to talk about her idol too much, that can be interesting. Because I've got the sense, I mean, these players played before we saw Perth in Australia versus the world. I get the sense that a lot of the people in this game, and even in like the last couple of seasons, maybe are starting to think that knowledge is power is dead.
yeah,
You don't hear a ton of talk about it. And I almost think that's the one way that that advantage can work. If it's in every season, it's never going to work because people are going to throw an idol around like a hot potato. But if it's in one season every 5 seasons and not always in sequence, it could just be something that every once in a while somebody just goes, boom, got you.
yeah. And I've heard like Probst loves this because even when it's not there, like it could be dead for 10 seasons, but the threat of it is always in the back of your mind now.
If the players talk about it.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen that at all this season. It's there, and no one said a thing.
Meanwhile, look at 43 and Janine giving her idol to someone
Yeah,
who gets sent home.
yeah.
But we learn the next episode that person gave it to Jesse, and Janine doesn't even know her idol's still in the game till after
Crazy.
she's been out multiple votes.
Just crazy.
Like, knowledge is power. I didn't love it when they introduced it in 41, but it gives us good content for sure.
It does. So then now we have kind of, if Savannah's been the power player so far, we have Sage trying to take her down.
We do.
What do you think about this?
I think we saw Sage on a mission to take out Shannon, and that worked well. I think she's facing a more difficult opponent this time. So we'll see.
I agree.
She has it in her to win another battle, but it's going to be harder this time.
It's going to be much harder, but I could see Sage being a player who like her or hate her, and I get the sense that a lot of people in the game, especially what happened when she took down Shannon, are not big fans of Sage so far. But I think she's someone who's both prepared to do what it takes to win and take some risks, and therefore maybe in not a 450, but maybe sometime in the 50s, get an invite back as kind of like a player that could have been, say, eligible for a new version of Game Changers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do like Sage. Kevin has said she's his favorite person left in the game.
Oh,
and from what I can tell online, a lot of people weren't huge Shannon fans, so I think they were liking her because of that too.
Fair enough.
One second, I'm gonna close the door of the room I'm in.
Oh, sure. Bruce will be back in like 30 seconds.
In the room. Sorry, the dog before we started kept messing with this chair. I don't know if she smells something in it or what in the other room. And she keeps leaving the recording room. So I decided to close the door because I don't want her over there messing with it when I can't see what she's doing.
Fair enough. No problem.
Yeah, Sage is an awesome character. She's really fun, really likable.
I agree.
I do want to bring up something I saw on Twitter that was interesting.
Yeah, please.
From James Jones from 43.
Okay.
He quote tweeted someone. Let me find it. The person said, the way they could have easily taken out Savannah and Rizzo back to back if they had just listened to Sage. And James quote tweeted this and said, part of the game is getting people to do what you want.
Yeah.
Is that like they
that
should listen to Sage, or is that she couldn't convince them? And that's a knock on her.
It's the latter.
That's how I read it, and he's right, but she's aware. She knows what's going on. Like,
yeah. She knows the game, but it's important to be able to be a leader and not just a follower if you want to get the votes at the end.
And we know she can. We saw her do that to Shannon, but it's a bigger group now. So
it's a bigger group, and I think it's players that are just Savannah and Rizzo are just naturally better at this game.
Yeah. And shout out to Rizzo. He has stayed in the game because people know he has an idol 2 rounds in a row. And he didn't play it either time.
And he doesn't need to be worried about what Sophie might do because she's not going to steal his idol.
Exactly. So he's in an awesome spot.
He's in a great spot.
And so
I might only have one player left, but I have one player who's a strong contender to win this game.
I have 3 left, and I'm kind of nervous for Savannah, but I don't see any of them going out soon.
No, not with what we know about next season.
I mean, yes, but she still has a huge target on her right now.
Oh, I know, but I still think it's too early. I don't think they would invite her if she went out now.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say both Savannah and Rizzo will at least be present on finale night. Whether they win the game or not, I don't know.
Yeah. But I also did tell Alex that I had him on my draft team and who my 3 people were, and he said I had a pretty good team.
You do. I'm very envious of your team.
I think. Yep.
Well, at least you got 1 point.
I hate shootouts. They're stressful, and we're bad at them.
You think hockey shootouts are stressful? Try being a football fan. And by that, I mean real football.
3-1 and 5-3 at separate points.
Oh, God.
And lost in a freaking shootout. Yeah, that's about right. Screw that.
All right. So, speaking of Savannah, who's been the player of the episode, we get a personal backstory from Savannah at this point.
Yeah, we do.
This was interesting. I know I wrote down at least my own personal thoughts, which was, Savannah is surprised that people are not being respectful colleagues and not being welcoming and bickering about her. Does she know what field of work she signed up for?
Huh.
Because at least that's my impression of the journalism industry. Maybe it's different down there. I don't know. It sure isn't up here.
Yeah.
What did you think about this part?
I liked this part a lot. And I love the backstory moments. I love the more
Yeah.
see the human side of them and not just the player side.
And I also found it interesting that a lot of what we did get from this backstory was in confessional. It wasn't like a shelter discussion.
We did have a shelter discussion with her and Steven.
Yeah, small, but it's not like everybody knows. This
Yeah,
could still be a part of her final tribal council, is where I'm going with this.
absolutely. And so,
And then we're on to the challenge. And this is what just gets weird. We're still doing the splitting the merged tribe into 5 and 5, so that we can normally in the new era have two separate tribals. But in this case, we're only going to have one vote because Jake had to go home. So, but because it's the new era, we're still married to the idea of having half the game have immunity at the final 10.
I don't mind the one tribal. I actually like if we're gonna split them into groups in the challenge. I prefer this over the two tribals.
Yeah, I agree, but we're never going to get this again. It's just because of the medevac.
But what does the medevac have to do with it?
We're one player short of where they expected to be.
It's still the same. It's still Final 10 though. They were gonna do this at Final 10.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying that they thought that they thought they'd need to be down one player, like earlier in the filming schedule, to get to Final 10.
See, again, I'm not convinced. I think you give too much credit to how much one medevac changes the schedule. Because look at like 46. Randon went home early, and the rest of the filming schedule was still the same thing. We still did two people at Double Tribal.
Yeah.
So I think this was pre-planned. And I love it. It's something different.
Yeah.
So
I'm fine with that too. I just felt that we were quite a bit this season. We were needing to alter the schedule for that, as opposed to just doing a challenge where there's one winner.
yeah, I don't know how much one medevac actually changes the rest of the schedule.
If you're right, and let's say I'm wrong and it has nothing to do with the medevac, then I'm more critical of this from production's angle. And that's that they should have just done this challenge the way they always did and have one winner.
I'd agree. I don't like the two groups almost ever, but if they're dead set on the two groups, I like the one tribal with half the people better than the two separate tribals.
Yes, I agree.
So I like this. This is my like of the new era, like split half the group at Final 10 twist. This is probably my favorite version of it.
I also really don't like the idea of one tribe getting to go to tribal after the other tribe and see who they voted out, because then you can change your view based on what's already happened, even though you're so-called one tribe.
Yeah.
As we saw in 42.
Yeah. Well, that's not a new concept, though. We saw that even.
No, I know. I'm just saying in 42, the result of the first tribal directly impacted the second vote.
Yeah. And so. But this was funny because me and Kevin were rooting for different groups. I was rooting for. I forget the colors, but one group had.
Blue and yellow.
Well, I know, but I forget who was on blue and who was on yellow.
Oh, I forget.
But one group had all three of my draft teams plus Sophie B.
Nice.
So and that group ended up winning.
He did.
And Kevin had his favorite plus I think both of his draft people left on the other team.
And I have only one person on my draft team left because the other two are back in the USA.
Yeah, and surprisingly, he lost neither of his draft people nor his favorite player out of 5 people at Tribal Council. So
wow, that's impressive.
It is.
because it ended up being my dad who lost someone from his draft team.
And not only do I have all three people left, my draft team gained two advantages this week. We gained an extra vote and an idol.
Wow.
Now those are on opposite sides of the numbers. So as things currently stand, they kind of cancel each other out, I feel like. But
they could to a point, or they could also be used effectively at different times.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about my three right now. And Alex, who was super nice and thanked us for like supporting the show and supporting him, said
Nice.
I have a good draft team. So, and he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But it's just it was a fun challenge, classic challenge. I like before he even explained it. The opening
and
shot.
Just as you say, you don't know which color is which. My notes literally say yellow goop and blue goop.
Yeah,
That's
my
funny.
like before we even say anything. Which, by the way, bit of an experience with like the actual episode itself is Bar Cosina West Town. And to their credit, they were working frantically on this almost the whole episode. The video and the audio were like apart.
Mm.
So that was not lined up. And I think
I always laugh when you hear things that are a bit off because I went to one bar in Ottawa for the 2022 Champions League final, Liverpool against Real Madrid. And it's in Ottawa, so it's not like tense like in Europe or nothing. But naturally, the same bar decides to use different rooms in the bar to have like one room for Madrid fans and one room for us Liverpool fans. But the sound was off between the two rooms for like 2 seconds apart. So as one guy for one team is like taking a shot on the net, you hear the other room, oh, he missed.
Nice.
And we haven't seen the shot yet. It was funny.
Yeah, well, and they also had subtitles turned on, which I don't think were lined up with the audio or the video. But I kind of don't pay attention to those anyway. I'd rather watch TV than read TV. But
yeah, I mean, you don't really use subtitles unless you have to, and they're really important for those who do.
No, I know. Well, I know people that like will turn them on anytime they're watching a movie or watching a show or something. That it's not like that they just like having them on.
The only time I do that is if I'm trying to watch a émission en français.
Yeah, that's just not. I know plenty of people that are subtitle fans, and more power to you. That's just not me.
Like, well,
TV than read.
I'll subtitle the English version of Survivor Quebec when I see it on.
Nice.
So the show is in French, but the subtitles will come up in English.
That's hilarious.
So, like we say, not only does the 5 people that mostly consist of your fantasy team end up winning, but Savannah stays on the longest and therefore gets an extra reward when she gets back to camp. They all are eating together. She goes to the water well to get a reward. And out of nowhere, Savannah's on a boat. And everyone's shocked.
Yeah.
Because imagine having a reward with somebody, and next thing you know, they're on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, and the people...
And they're just waving at you, and she can't tell them what's happening. Exactly. You were about to say it, sorry.
It's fantastic. And I like this. I like that a player I like got it and gets the option. She can vote at this tribal, but she can also keep that as an extra vote.
Yep, and that's exactly what she does.
And it's brilliant. Her showing up at that beach kind of changed the whole dynamic of everything.
So now there's a little bit more power going into next week where we're at the final 9. And Savannah, Lizzo, and Sophie are 3 against 6, but they have an extra vote. So that makes it 4 against 6. If they
Yeah.
can get somebody to flip, they're not out of this.
Yeah.
Or maybe one can win him. Maybe they don't get anybody to flip, and Savannah wins immunity, and Rizzo plays his idol, and Sophie B takes Christina's idol, and next thing you know, all hell is breaking loose when they have to vote amongst themselves.
She doesn't know Christina has it, though.
She might find out. I'm just predicting.
True.
Yeah, it's a long way off. I'm just saying it's possible that they could all pull advantages out and really break this majority alliance in half.
Yeah. That's what I'm rooting for because I like Savannah. I like both Sophies, and Sophie B is outside of the majority. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of nervous for Sophie S. If she keeps performing like this in challenges, she's not going to be around very long.
Unless she starts winning them.
Well, she already barely survived this week.
Yeah.
I don't think she goes home next, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
I want to see her go deeper than I feel like she's going to. I feel like she's going to become a target because of challenge performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of already has, honestly.
We've already pretty much gone over what happens after the she leaves on a boat. But do you have anything from Tribal?
We had a live Tribal.
We did.
Which is even more fun when you're in a giant, really loud room full of people watching the show.
Yeah.
But
I can imagine.
All this live Tribal just for the person to go home that was probably going home going into Tribal.
Yeah.
What was all that for exactly?
Probably. I don't think we know. We heard some of it, but we didn't hear everything. Obviously, it could have gone on for hours. For all we know, it could have gone on for 10 seconds. There was probably discussion more, I would guess, on like it will naturally go into a live Tribal when you have the unknown. More often than not. And in this case, the presence of Savannah was the unknown. And you don't know what that advantage is and what she could do coming forward. Maybe they didn't edit it in, but maybe they are, like you brought up, talking about Vanuatu and Guatemala and saying, is she going to hand this off to somebody else?
Yeah.
Maybe she's going to do it after we vote, like as if it was an idol. Who knows?
I feel like that twist is better for pre-merge than this situation, though.
I agree.
Because at this point, you know the people at Tribal. If you do it pre-merge, and especially pre-swap, if you're watching people at Tribal that you've never met before, and the way
it's just judging by
that was so much fun.
The impression that you have off of them in challenges.
Okay, fine. I'll rewatch Guatemala. You convince me. But
well, maybe not this season because we've already picked a season to rewatch for the off season.
Yeah. Well, we picked the season to do an episode on. I can rewatch a different season just on my own.
Oh yeah, of course. I need to rewatch that season. It's been a long time.
I've only seen it once, so
I think I've only seen it once too.
Yeah.
It's the only season of Survivor I didn't watch live.
Interesting.
My grandmother was in the hospital at the time it aired.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah. And she was the one that got us into watching the show in the first place. So
I will say with live Tribals too, there was a stretch there where they were so common that it was starting to annoy me.
Yeah.
But it's become uncommon again, and it's surprising again when it happens.
When was that? When was that work?
Probably.
I think so. It's just that
40.
It's just that cast.
I got into the show at 36, so the first one I remember seeing was 38. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is crazy. What's happening? And during Winners at War, it happened often enough. I'm like, okay, can we
More
just
than
get a
often than
plan where
not.
we go into tribal, please?
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
rare again, and it's fun again.
Yeah.
Winners at
Sometimes,
War kind of killed my enjoyment of live tribals, but it's back.
I mean, you had Ghost Island when you started, which was so, but then you got spoiled with starting the show as your second season at David versus Goliath, one of the best seasons of all time.
And it gets crap, but Edge of Extinction right after I maintain was a good season.
Oh, Edge of Extinction is a great season. I
They
don't necessarily I don't necessarily like how it turned out.
no.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Final Four. But like there's so many great players in that season. I just wish well, I was hoping Gavin would win, but like in addition to Gavin, like the final 5 and 6, Lauren and Victoria are two of the most memorable players of the 30s.
Let me ask this.
Yeah.
If Rick wins instead of Chris, who still got voted out but spent significantly more time in the game, does that season get the backlash it gets?
I don't think it does, but it doesn't mean that I would think it's any better, personally.
I would.
But I think the audience really liked Rick, and I think a lot of people in the audience were cheering for Rick the whole season the second he comes back in the game. I was personally cheering for Victoria. So
I would still put him last for the same reason as same thing, just only winner that got voted out.
yeah,
But he spent so much more time in the game than Chris and did a lot more. I think I would be higher on him as a winner than I am on Chris.
yeah, absolutely.
So, but at that point, whoever won that, we can see now, whoever won that fire making challenge was winning the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is not an Survivor Edge of Extinction episode.
No, but we should do one sometime.
Yeah, we should. Maybe between 50 and 51.
Yeah.
But so we talked about tribal. Do we have anything else? Do we want to go into a line blindside first boot?
Oh, that. I forgot to do that. Sure, let's go into it. Do you have 3 or do you want me to come up with 3 on the fly?
I can come up with 3 on the fly as I'm going.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I will give you, I'm just going to give you obscure names that come to my head.
Okay.
We talked about Guatemala, so you're going to get Lydia from that season who did like the pancake dance.
Yeah.
And then I talked about meeting Andrea, so from Caramoan, you're going to get what's her name that looks like Sandra Bullock. Sherry.
Okay.
That's a weird season.
It is.
But
as I call it, not actual fans and not actual favorites. Hence why they had to go with Caramoan and not fans versus favorites too.
Well, they did call it Caramoan fans versus favorites. The
for a very little bit of time.
Fans versus favorites.
Yeah.
But so you get Lydia, you get Sherry. And for your third name, I will give you. We talked about Edge of Extinction, so let's go with Eric.
Okay. I am going to align with Eric.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
I mean, Eric was, well, starting Edge of Extinction, Eric was one player that I picked pre-game that I was cheering for and that I thought would make a good ally to begin with. So that's easy. I'm going to blindside Lydia. She was blindsided at 4. Well, not really because Danny had immunity, but I think she was hoping that she would get further in the game, but already has that experience. And therefore, I'll first boot Sherry, who I think might be the most erratic of these 3.
Yeah. I agree. I think Eric is the strongest player here. We see the most of his gameplay, I think.
Yeah.
Lydia goes far into Guatemala, but we don't see much from her.
Hmm.
So I'll blindside her because she seems super nice, and I don't think she'd take it personally. And I'll
Yeah.
first boot Sherry, who seems like a bit of a wild card, and also just I'm not convinced we'd work together well.
Nice.
Definitely looks like Sandra Bullock, though.
Yes. So we also talked about just a second ago. Um, excuse me. We also talked about just a second ago players that I was cheering for in the game early on. So I'm going to give you a list of 3 players that I picked to cheer for from different seasons who may be also a little obscure players when they started.
Okay.
So speaking of Vanuatu,
Oh, geez.
you're going to get Brady. Speaking of Edge
We're
of
off to a crazy
Extinction,
start
I'll
already.
what?
We're off to a wild start already, one name in.
Edge of Extinction, I'll give you Victoria, who I mentioned. And from Survivor 47 that we talked about, I'll give you Sam.
What was the name you said from
Brady.
Vanuatu?
Brady. He
Brady?
went out just before the merge.
Oh, never mind. I was looking at the cast in front of me and wasn't seeing it. And as soon as I asked the question, I saw it. So I'm just blind. I'm gonna first boot him because I honestly have no memory of him.
He was a military guy. Won the first challenge by climbing the pig fat grease pole in front of all of the locals.
As soon as you said obscure name in Guatemala and Vanuatu, I knew it was gonna be something like that. Because that entire season and cast is kind of just a season and cast that don't get talked about and don't get thought about much in the fandom. So other than
Interesting.
like Chris and Amy and Eliza, I would venture to say a lot of people don't remember
Yeah, that's fair.
about that season.
I think those 3 that you mentioned, though, Chris, Amy, and Eliza, still have quite a big fan base.
Even Chris, though, like you don't hear him talked about as much as you should. One of the
Yeah,
most underrated winners.
yeah, very much so.
But like compared to other winners, you don't hear Chris Darty talked about very much.
No, I get the sense that I've heard Jeff and him don't really get along.
Huh.
I don't know if that's true or not. Just what I heard.
I've heard people. Yeah. I'm gonna first boot him.
I also think that there's
him.
somebody else on this season that people remember named Julie, who is maybe why production doesn't talk about this season.
It's an underrated season.
Much. Yeah.
Not one of the stronger casts, but great storylines.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad cast. It's just not super memorable. So back into our game. I'm going to blindside Sam, who I met at the first time I went to Bryson Wynn.
Nice.
And align with Victoria, because she'll play strategic and I'll play social, so I know how to separate our games.
And speaking of this one, you met Sam the first time you went to Bryson Wynn, and I met Victoria the first time I went.
I really wish I had thought of like the autograph hat then, because there was a lot of people from that season there too.
Oh, that would have been nice. Let's do it.
So.
Oh, well, you can keep it going now, and who knows what 50 will bring.
Oh, yeah, I already have these, like, all over it, and when this fills up, I'll just buy another one from the Paramount shop.
Nice.
But I have enough room. I don't think I need to buy another hat before 50, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that was fun. What are you doing here with this game?
I think I'm gonna align with Sam. Blindside Victoria and first boot Brady. Like you say with Brady, we just didn't see enough of him. Even though the reason I added him to this game is that I just remember reading the cast bios in Vanuatu and saying he's who I was cheering for. Um, Victoria is just one good player, and I think if she was to get to Final Three, she wins. Sam, we saw have an amazing final tribal council, and it wasn't enough.
That one is still weird. I went into Final Tribal Council thinking Rachel's going to win in a blowout.
Yep.
Sam performed in a way that I'm like, okay, this will be close, and he might have even found a way to win. That was incredible, and it was still a blowout somehow.
Yeah.
And
Rachel
I've heard
played.
her talk about like she was surprised at the vote also.
That season is just such a strong season, though. Like
Yeah.
Rachel, Sam, Genevieve, Andy, all of them could have won, plus some players that went out earlier.
Speaking of Andy, shout out to Kevin. And again, we talked about this in the car. Him coming on the show as a guest host, announcing Andy was going to win, only for him to go home the next week. And the first time he was on the show as a guest host in 45, gave his player of the week to Jay Maya, who then went home the next episode.
Yeah.
So, shout out to him,
Anyway,
though. He's bold with his takes, and I like that. It makes things more
absolutely.
interesting.
That was fun.
One of these days, he'll be right on one of those takes, but we'll see.
Maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but with that being said, check out all the other shows: Pit Stop Pals, Next Generation Challengers. Roundtable Talk is back with the Maple Leaf edition of Traders.
Yep.
And with that being said, grab your torches and head back to camp. Bye,
Good
everyone.
night.